right, we got another one for you today. Back at it once again on Blacklisted and Max. We got Chase Langille with us today, man. How you doing today, Chase?
Good yourself?
I'm doing good, man. I'm always doing good. And that's the way I like to live my life, man, for the most part.
That's how you got to do it.
Exactly, man. Let's talk, man. Motocross, man. Why motocross for you out of all of the sports that's out there? Why do you choose one of the most physical demanding sports there is, man?
You know what? I enjoy it. It's been in my family for as long as I can remember.
Mm-hmm.
My dad started when he was young. He got one of those pull start bikes with it was like a 50.
Uh-huh.
Um, and he started riding behind my grandparents' house. And then, yeah, man, uh, I think I was a year old, and I remember sitting on my dad's CR 250,
Mm-hmm.
and I loved it. I thought it was the greatest sport alive, man. Seeing all the top riders perform to their best. You know, just the physical demand for it, I think, is what drove me to wanting to go more and more.
Mm-hmm.
And at 3 years old, my dad got me and my twin brother a PW50, and we rode it in a field for as long as I could remember, and I fell in love.
Yeah,
That was that was the game changer right there for me.
yeah, never look back, huh?
No,
So how did they racing get involved with you, man? I mean, it's always from riding into racing, but when did that start for you?
that started. I was about 11 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and my first ever race, never touched a starting gate, was at Milan, Michigan.
Hmm.
Uh, and we were actually late for the Pee Wee track, so I bucked up and I rode the advanced track, and man, that was it. I fell in love again, and I told my dad I wanted to continue racing, and that was kind of the start of my racing career. And we kept going. We did some races in Canada. We did CMX on my 85. And I actually grenaded my bike over a huge tabletop at Hiawatha,
Mm-hmm.
and that kind of put a damper in my day, but it was no turning back from there.
Now you said you had a twin brother. I just want to take it
I
back a
did.
little bit. Now your twin brother is he younger or older? Who came
We're
first?
actually paternal twins.
Mm-hmm.
He's 2 minutes older.
Okay. Okay. Now,
And go ahead.
no, go ahead. I'll let you go first.
He was never really into the sport. He was more of like Bakugan,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
kind of guy. He was into the anime and that.
Okay.
We had a buddy that his dad owns a gravel pit. He had a few trail bikes in that. And my brother would take those out when the family would go riding. But that was pretty much it. He's rode my 252 stroke a few times, but
Mm-hmm.
he's not big into it. He's more of a football player now.
Okay.
Um, and you know what? Good riddance for him. He can make a career out of playing football or, shooting his guns because he's into
Mm-hmm.
gun competitions now.
Nice.
He shoots three guns over in the States. He shoots a few competitions in Canada, but
Mm-hmm.
mostly it's in the States for him.
Okay. Okay. Now, how old are you?
I'm 25. I'll be turning 26 in August
Okay.
17th.
Okay.
Um, and it's just one thing after the other with me,
Mm-hmm.
working two full-time jobs just to try and maintain the bike and,
Mm-hmm.
you know, get to the races. And with the sponsors that I have,
Mm-hmm.
they make they make it all happen for me.
Okay.
And I can't thank them enough.
Hmm. Now you're 25 years old. What class are you riding?
I ride in the States, I ride the B class,
Hmm.
and over in the States, or over in Canada, I ride the intermediate class.
Okay. Now you're 25 years of age and you're racing 252 stroke. How competitive do you feel on that bike racing against the four strokes as an intermediate racer?
You know what? And it's funny you asked that because I've been asked this multiple times.
Hmm.
And quite honestly, uh, it's hard. It
Hmm.
really is.
Okay.
Um, because I'm shifting 5 times to they're maybe 3 times shifting.
Hmm.
And you know what? It kind of the struggle is real, right?
Hmm.
Um, I think I get more arm pump up than most people because
Hmm.
I'm on a two-stroke. Just the vibration in that.
Hmm.
Um, but I have been on the 250 four-stroke, and you know what? I prefer to mix gas and haul ass. That's how I look at it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Most people would fight me tooth and nail on that and
Hmm.
say, well, you know what? You need to move up to a 254 stroke. And it's not that I need to, it's I have more fun on my 250 two
Yeah.
stroke.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to be that lazy rider that shifts twice or 3 times
Hmm.
on a track or whatever. I'd rather shift my brains out and try and catch the guy in front of me than
Hmm.
be lazy.
Yeah.
That's just how I look at things.
Hmm. Now,
And
go for
it's
it.
cheaper. It's cheaper to fix a two-stroke.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I can spend $200 on a piston and rings, where a four-stroke, if you do a valve in, well, you might as well kiss
Yeah.
that bike
Yeah.
goodbye, right?
Yeah.
So I've learned that the hard way.
Yeah, yeah, that definitely two strokes definitely cut costs for sure, man. uh,
Oh yeah.
Especially when you're racing and you know you're an intermediate racer and you got to race every weekend or you get into the races and you know every dime is going to stack up on you, two or four stroke, but you can save a little bit of money if you ran a two stroke, that's for sure, as opposed to they say you know you have less maintenance with the four strokes. I don't know how true it is. I've owned a four stroke, but I've only rode it two times and I sold it. And
Oh,
I just didn't
yeah.
have enough time to really actually get used to the bikes. I don't have anything bad to say, but I spend most of my time riding two strokes. I'm like you, I love two strokes. But once I start riding again, I'll apply myself on a four stroke and see if I can get the feel for it, see if I can get bit by the bug. But if not, I'm sticking two stroke. But
I didn't blame you.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, yeah, I remember going to Gopher Dunes. I was riding with Joey Crown.
Hmm.
He came down to Gopher, and for some reason, I don't know what happened. I destroyed fourth gear out of it.
Hmm.
Just
Hmm.
mangled the crap out of it. I could only shift into first gear, and that was it.
Hmm.
And some guys that parked beside us let me use his son's KX, or sorry, it was a KTM 250F.
Hmm.
And I'm not the type of guy to, you know, borrow a bike, but the time came and the
Hmm.
opportunity was there.
Hmm.
So I jumped on it
Okay.
and I fell in love with that bike. There's
Hmm.
something about the KTM's that are just, they're so nice. They're
Yeah.
comfortable.
Yeah.
You move your bars to where you want them and the levers and that and go from there.
Yeah. Yeah. KTM is actually few of the last bikes that I raced, and I absolutely love them, man. I went from Yamahas to Kawasaki's to KTM's, and when I switched over to KTM, the very first KTM I bought was from a guy by the name of Mark Tilley, and he was actually a pro at the time. He was a privateer pro, but he was making all the nationals and stuff. He didn't race Supercross at the time, but he did do the outdoors. And I bought one of his bikes because I worked with him, and I fell in love with that bike, man. I bought new KTM's every 1 to 2 years after that, and I stuck with them. Once I stopped racing, I got a Suzuki because I worked for a company that had a factory Suzuki team. So I bought one of their practice bikes. That's the bike that I sold 2 days later.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a bike that I sold 2 days later to a buddy of mine. Said, "No, I don't want to ride the 4 strokes. I'll just keep with the 2 strokes." And then a buddy of mine actually gave me a RM 125, and I took that bike out. And second day I rode that bike, I blew it up, and that bike still sits blown up in my storage, with the original dirt still on it too.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I've had a few of those days.
Hmm.
And blowing up a bike is not fun. It kind of puts a damper in your
Yeah,
day, and
yeah,
you kind of just want to go home and relax,
yeah.
and then back at it the next day.
Hmm. Now I know. Let's talk about injuries, man. I know everybody has their fair share of injuries when it comes to racing motocross, and I know you're fairly getting over an injury now, man. How was that injury done?
So I tore my ACL and meniscus in 2015. And it was kind of weird because it wasn't even playing like riding or that. It
Oh,
was actually playing football
oh shit. Okay.
for my high school team.
Mhm.
Uh, and I was running with the football, and I got a helmet to the knee, the left knee, and next thing I know, my knee went one way and my body went the other way, and
Mm.
I felt a tear, and
Mhm.
my knee locked in place.
Mhm.
I didn't know what it was. Hospital never knew what it was. So I kind of just I did physio for it,
Mhm.
and then went on with my life, kept riding, kept training. And then May of 2021 I went out golfing with a buddy,
Mhm.
and one golf swing I ended up tearing it again.
Really? So you never
Yeah.
properly healed it the first time, and it just made it worse over the time, and ended up doing damage to it. And how far are you into recovery when you're going to be 100% with it?
Um, well, the way my physiotherapist is telling me, I should be 100% by April.
Okay. Okay.
I've been doing workouts here and there.
Mhm.
I haven't been doing heavy weights.
Mhm.
Uh, it's just been to strengthen, the knee and keep it going. But everything, I feel good.
Mhm.
Um, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Only time will tell.
Now you live fairly close, man, to like the Canadian Detroit border, right?
Yes, I
What
do.
what would you consider a home track? Which is closer for you to cross the border and ride, or for you to be in Canada? Because I know a lot of the tracks in Canada are fairly distant from each other. So I mean, what would be an ideal practice track for you to go to?
Um, there's two. Twisted MX in Milan, Michigan,
Okay.
is probably one of the closest ones to me, which is 2 hours from the border.
Okay.
And then the next closest, in Canada would be, Gopher Dunes.
Okay. Okay. So yeah.
And I love Gopher Dunes. Like
Hmm.
I can't thank Derek Schuster and all the guys there
Hmm.
enough for just the great facility that they have there
Hmm.
and the tracks.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I hear
It
nothing
makes,
positive about Gopher Dunes, man.
it makes you one hell of a rider, I'll tell you that. If you can ride that track, you can pretty much ride any track.
So why do you like it so much?
I love the sand.
Okay.
I've grown up riding sand, and I think sand is the forte for me.
Hmm.
You can always twist the wick and go fast. Doesn't matter if it's raining or if it's snowing or whatever. You can always go fast in
Hmm.
sand.
Yeah, that's true. Now, without all your racing, if you can reflect with all your racing, if you can reflect on one race in general, what brings back the most fondest memory to you, racing?
The most fondest would have to be. loading up our whole family on a Friday night or a Saturday night and going to either Milan, Michigan or Delta, Ohio,
Mm-hmm.
um, or even hitting Baja. Just being with my family,
That's what's
having
up.
a good time with my family,
Mm-hmm.
uh, having them there to support me,
Mm-hmm.
telling me things that I need to work on for the next moto or things I need to watch for that they've seen other people do. They just help me out so much, man.
That's what's
And
up.
I can't thank them enough.
That's what's up. Now, being age 25, being an intermediate rider, racer, what's next for you? I mean, you're racing to have fun. I want to ask you a realistic question. What are your goals in motocross in general? Are you just doing this for fun? Are you doing it to make something out of yourself? Are you doing it to become a pro and just be happy and content as being a pro? What do you want to do with motocross?
Quite honestly, the age that I'm at right now, it's kind of hard to say I want to go pro.
Mm-hmm.
Um, right now I'm just in for it for the fun.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you have so many injuries. You look back at all the injuries that you have, or you've seen friends or family go through, and it kind of hits a little bit different.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I I don't want to go and break my back or break my neck, or tear another ACL. Um, I just want to go and have fun now.
Okay.
And you know what? If that means loading up with a bunch of friends or
Mm-hmm.
my family and going to a track or, going to a day race or whatever and just having fun,
Mm-hmm.
so be it.
That's what's up, man. It's all fun. That's how it began with you, as fun. That's how you create and keep those memories going, man. Making it fun continuously. Um, so you'll be 100% close to 100% or at 100% in April. The season's pretty much kicking off. I mean, you plan on doing any racing this year, or what do you plan on doing?
Uh, I plan on doing some races, maybe halfway through the season.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like to give the knee some time to heal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I have heard like if you do dab your foot or you mess up in a corner or over a jump, I could potentially tear this ACL again.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, I think, one of the worst injuries I've had in years.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to go through that. It was the most pain I've dealt with for
Mm-hmm.
years.
Do you think?
And
Go
go ahead.
ahead. No, no, it's on you. I apologize.
No, I just think it's better off to give it that extra leeway to heal up and, make sure that everything's safe
Yeah. Now,
before popping back out there.
do you feel like with that injury and you're riding, that's one of those injuries that'll be lingering over your head while you're riding, so you're kind of gonna be babying it for a while? You feel like once you get back on the bike, you're gonna be comfortable enough to kind of pick up where you left off?
I think I might baby it for like a month or so. Take some time for the knee to get used to it again.
Mm-hmm.
And then it'll be like full force,
Okay.
ready to go.
Okay. All right. Well, Chase, man, that'll wrap things up, man. Short and sweet, man. I appreciate your time coming on the Blacklisted MX. Thank you for supporting, man, and thank you for sharing your stories and how you got all dialed in with motocross, man, and where you're at now.